I'm Wendell Jones, and welcome to this edition of our program, Jones and Company. On this program, we examine the national issues of the Bahamas. And as promised, we decided that we are going to speak with the leadership of the youthful arms of the two major parties in our country. And last weekend on our program, we spoke with the members of the Young Liberals, the Progressive Young Liberals of the Progressive Liberal Party. And this weekend in our country, we have the TorchBearers Youth Association represented on Jones and Company. They are having their 2019 convention under the theme, A Future Secured. And on our program today, we are pleased to have Gabrielle McKenzie, the first Vice President of the TorchBearers Association, D'Angelo Ferguson, who is a trustee, and John Montpetit, who is the National Treasurer of the organization, the TorchBearers Youth Association. Good to have you all here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And we have the senior citizen with us, Mr. Guthrie Anius. Good to see you here, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Very good, very good. And let's begin with our lady friend here, Gabrielle McKenzie. How long have you been Vice President?
I've been Vice President now for almost 2 years because we have our elections coming back up in January.
Okay. How involved is the Youth Association in the national affairs of the Free National Movement?
Well, the TorchBearers Youth Association is extremely involved and active in the national party. We have the most seats on council from any of the representative constituencies as well as the Women's Association. We have 4 members that sit on council. So our president sits on council. We have 2 council reps as well as an executive member that sits on council. So we have a lot to say when it comes to our national party.
Okay, and I noticed from the literature that the TorchBearers started in 1972.
1972, correct. Right after, a year after the party was formed, we were the first politically recognized and most active youth political organization in the 242.
Wow, and that was even before you were born.
Yes.
Yes.
And you have a convention,
On
for 2 days, A Future Secured, and I don't understand these dash numbers.
Hashtag access granted. Access
granted.
granted.
What does that mean?
You know, when we hashtag things, it's become accustomed to millennials, especially around the world. Hashtags are movements. They are stuff that people can get involved with. So access to opportunity is access to education, access to entrepreneurship, access to land reform. So anything that you have gotten access to, you can hashtag that, and if you go on Facebook and search it, you will find all sorts of photos, posts, whatever people post, and attach the hashtag to, you can find it.
Okay.
Ms. McKenzie, you seem to be a very articulate young lady.
Thank you so much.
What is your view on the fact that there's only one female in the FNM's cabinet? What is your opinion?
Well, I believe in this. My thing isn't just female-centric, female. I feel a lot of people push the the idea of females, but the idea that should be pushed is equality. Don't just put me there because I'm a female, put me there because I'm capable and able to do the task that I was assigned to do. So I don't see an entirely big problem with it, while I agree we should have more females in that run, particularly in government. But I won't say that there's an issue with how many females were placed in cabinet.
Do you think, Montpetit, for instance, that the voices of young people, that your voices are really listened to, recognized, in governance in our country? And Ferguson, you can take a stab at that too. Yes?
I do believe that. If you look at the history of the TorchBearers Youth Association, you have young persons starting from 1972 that had their voices heard in government. You had Tommy Turnquest, who ended up becoming leader of the party. You have persons like Carl Bethel, who's now the Attorney General of the country. You have Senator Jamal Morris, who started off as a TYA president. All of those persons actually started off as TYA presidents at some point. So you have Lincoln Deal now, who's the national chairman for the party. So as you can see, history shows it, and even the present now shows it, where not only our party listen to us, but when they get into government, they listen to us as well. And they find an a point to listen to the young persons. The Prime Minister, he tends to meet with us quarterly with the executive board to talk about what's going on the ground. What are the young persons saying? How are they feeling? What are their issues? And we try to attack those issues one by one. As you can see, we have our convention coming up. We're focusing on the 3 E's: education, employability, and entrepreneurship. Because we found out that those are the major areas that are facing young persons today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
And John actually hit it right on the nail, and what I like about this government, and this is actually my first time, being involved in any political, organization, association, and I actually joined TorchBearers last year, so I'm actually new to this, but I mean, like so far since I have joined it, the love, the love, the care, and all of that I received from, the president, the vice president, John, like everyone, it's so, it's so different and uplifting, and also, me being able to meet with the Prime Minister, I think it was earlier this year, we met him at his office, and it was about 15 of us, all of the execs from the TYA, and we just sat and, he said, throw him at him, what's going on? What does the young people want? What can we do to make it better? We gave him our views, this is what we want, and like John said, what young people want, they, just like other persons, they want to actually feel it, and I believe that I'll just touch on one thing: education, just to see what the government have done in that regards, and Jeff Lloyd spoke a lot about it. He articulated, what happened and what's going to happen, and it's exciting, I wish, and I heard a lot of other persons from the audience, probably one of the MCMs was next to me, and she said, I going back to school, you know what I mean? Because of all of these opportunities and, all of this money that the government is putting towards education, and let's talk about the tuition, the free tuition at UB. It's amazing. When I was in UB, it wasn't free, it was expensive. I actually didn't even finish UB because of the cost.
You didn't have scholarships back then?
No, I did not have any. I did not have any
The
scholarship.
government didn't subsidize you back then?
No, sir.
Why?
See, because I am from South Andros, and
I
in South Andros, a lot of the family islands, I believe, is at a disadvantage, because we don't know a lot about what's going on, and no one comes over there and tell us what's going on, inform us of what's going on. It's rather sad, just growing up on the family islands,
But the South Andros is just over there.
I know.
And so you weren't informed? You weren't keeping up?
No, me being a high school student, and back in 2000 and back in 1999 and stuff, I don't even think that we had like stable internet and stuff over there, or we don't even have no newspaper and stuff over there. So the information, I believe, was not disseminated to us in the family islands.
I see. Okay. Godfrey?
What are you young people, what is your view on youth and experience? Many young people aspire to leadership positions, right? But you lack experience. What is your take on that?
Personally, and there's this struggle I feel in all areas, in all careers, with um, what they call the baby boomers and Generation X and Y. And I feel like there should be a middle ground, a point where experience meets innovation. Young persons now, back then, it wasn't so much persons with the college degrees and the education, but you see a lot of young persons. I don't believe that they're saying, push out the experience. I believe that they're saying, hey, we have a new way of doing this. Let me modernize this. Let me show you what's happening in the 21st century. And mind you, many persons, and I've experienced this for myself, many baby boomers are reluctant. I've been doing this like this for 20, 50, 55 years. How you could come and tell me that there's a new way to print this paper and get the same results, and sometimes even faster? I believe that there is a reluctance with changing and evolving, keeping up. Because if I could have gotten, we had the typewriters back then. I'm used to typing up my letters. Why are you trying to show me I can go on Microsoft Word now and get that document printed right out, and if I have any errors, I don't have to try and go back over to Braille and do all this stuff. So that's where I believe the problem comes in. Young persons aren't here to take over. They're here to say, though, train me up. Show me what you know. Teach me. Pour into us so that when it is our time, we are prepared. And succession planning is the biggest problem. A lot of people want to hold on to the power, clinch onto it. I believe there was a politician that said in the media the other day, these young folks don't know, I'm experienced, I've been here, but there's going to come a time, tomorrow is not promised to any man. There is going to become a time, and we see that persons die out while serving. Who did you train up to take that place? Did the person underneath you? Did you prepare them? Did you hand over all the information so that when it is their time, they are prepared and you don't come with the story that they are inexperienced?
Gabrielle McKenzie, your views are not dissimilar to the views of people in other political organizations, whether it's PLP or DNA.
It's across.
And they all hold that same view, I believe. Let me ask all of you just this fundamental question. Why are you FNM?
Why am I FNM?
Yes.
Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Jones, growing up, seeing both parties lead, I always said I wanted to be a part of nation building. I wanted to personally be involved in it because that's my love. I have passion for that. So I researched and I looked at both political parties at that time. DNA wasn't around then. But I looked at the PLP and I looked at their track record and looked at the FNM and their track record. And the FNM to me had the best track record for nation building and the building up of not just the behemoth, but the young persons. The young persons. And why I say that is...
Now you got to justify that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now why I say that is because growing up from primary school, I look at the O2 track record when the PLP administration
From 02?
was from 2002.
Okay, you start from 2002.
I started from 2002.
You start late.
Yeah, I started late, but that's when I was in primary school at the time. I really started to look at things, and I saw the numerous scandals that were coming up, and I saw the negativity around it. I know that was something I didn't want to be around. And then I look at now the 07 when the FNM came back in, and I saw the improvements in which they did to this nation, and just not only this nation but the Family Islands as well. We had the roadworks program going on. Now persons might have been frustrated about the timing of it, but everyone now can benefit from it.
Okay. All right, Ferguson, why are you FNM?
Yeah. Well, I would say, I wouldn't even go, as far as John, but like I said,
You wouldn't go as far as 2002?
Yeah, but no, I mean, like I am new, like I said, that I am new to politics. I never got involved.
Yes.
I just started back in 2016, and I was a friend of mine a coworker who I work with, she came to me and, she said that, D'Angelo, you should come and get involved and, with the FNM party, and I said, hey, let me give it a shot, and then, once I get involved and I see, what's going on, and then, I used to see, and what really caused me to get involved too, when you see like during in 2016, that was like during campaign time,
But I want to know why you on FNM.
Yes, I am an FNM because I know that the party believes in young people. That's why I'm an FNM.
Okay. Gabrielle?
Wow. I could have a whole show, a whole
I don't want to
segment
take it
Yes,
all.
on
yes.
why I am FNM
Yeah.
because I think this is just in my blood.
Yeah.
And mind
What's in
you,
your blood?
no. Mind you, I didn't come from a family that was wholesomely politically involved. And when a lot of them voted, they voted for PLP because, mind you, they came up under that cylinder and Pinland era, where when the PLP, I believe, was maybe at its best, in my opinion, based on the research that I've done. And when I compared what I want to see now, it's good to acknowledge the past, but we can't live in it. And when I look at the options that I have presented for me today, who is looking for my today and looking out for my tomorrow, the Free National Movement was the only option on the table for me.
Yes.
When it came to tangibleness, things that we could touch, see, smell, and taste, the Roadworks was one of my favorite projects, to be honest. While people were frustrated with the communication aspect of it, I believe it was a lack of communication. And I can fully admit that they dropped the ball in that aspect, Prime Minister Ingram at that time. But he had a vision. There was a vision at the end of that. I don't know if you remember going on to Google one time, and if you Google the Bahamas, try it again now, you could see these little pins you could draw. You couldn't do that before. You saw one line there, and I believe it said Blue Hill Road. That's it. Now, with all of that road work and infrastructure, the population is increasing. We need more roads, more people were getting cars, we needed technology. With that infrastructure came the Google Maps, all of that. Persons had to come and survey all of the islands. That's now how persons can enjoy the pinning, drop. Where you is? Drop me. I'm sure people send me a location on WhatsApp and you can find anyone. That's some of the benefits that we reaped with the FNM. I believe that they don't just talk, that they deliver. The straw market burned down from many years ago, built back under the FNM administration. And I look at it. Schools weren't built, I believe, from Sir Lyndon Pinland's time. That's why I said, if you look at what was then, the PLP was a very strong, prosperous party. But I'm living in today. I'm not in that era anymore. So I can't just follow Grammy and Granddaddy because their time has passed now. I have to worry about me and my children and my children's children. And the party that I see willing and doing, developing young persons, looking out for our futures is the Free National Movement.
Okay, all right.
Let me, talking about the future, Ms. McKenzie, what are your views, or any of you, what are your views on, you talk about nation building, all right? One of the roles of nation building is to make people citizens of this country, all right? What are your views on immigration?
Well, I have some views on it. It is a very touchy matter, and it's a very sensitive matter.
No, but it's an issue.
It's an issue, though, but it's still it's
No, and
sensitive
it has to
issue.
be addressed.
And it has to be addressed,
Right.
yes.
Right.
And for me, I heard somebody say automatic citizenship. No way. In my opinion, no way. Canada has a similar, when we compare, we go around and we compare different countries. While their demographics may be a little different, we look at different policies that we may, could take and pull from. They don't just take anyone. Anyone isn't just going to drop on the doorstep in Canada and say, I'm going to be a Canadian, however I came over here. They want the brightest and the best and people that will impact and build that country up. And I believe the same thing should apply for here. Not because somebody came here, and I'm going to speak strongly about this, while I while I sensitize with them, you can't just come to a place illegally, have children illegally, and then say automatic citizenship. That is going to be on the purses of Bahamian people. We have to cover that expense. And then who are these persons coming in? We don't know. Are they going to be contributing to society? Are they going to be the doctors that we need? Are they going to fill the teachers gap that we need, the nurses that we need? Or are they going to contribute to the crime aspect of the economy? Not saying that they do. But these are some of the challenges
you have the same view
that I
as
have.
Donald Trump.
I have the same view as Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
yeah. Donald Trump thinks just like that.
But I'm just
Exactly the
saying-
way you think.
But we
because,
have to,
because he believes that foreigners coming in and they're going to contribute negatively.
Take
That's
I
what-
never
that-
said
that-
that. No.
He doesn't, he doesn't
Let
see,
me correct you
he
right there,
doesn't
Mr.
see-
Jones.
he
I
doesn't
never said
see-
that they are going to contribute
No,
negatively.
you didn't say that.
I said
But-
that we have to make sure that these persons that we are granting citizenship are building the country, or we'll still be out looking for people to come in.
No, but
This young man's name here is Mon Petit.
Mon Petit.
Mon Petit.
I realize that we are built up a person. Go ahead.
Your name is Mackenzie. There was a time in the Bahamas when the population in New Providence was mostly Caucasian. About 15,000 Caucasians. All of us came from somewhere. Hold on. Other than the Bahamas. Okay?
We know this.
We have Deliveau, which is a French name. Devaux, which is a French name. Mon Petit is a French name.
It is.
But this man is a potential prime minister of the Bahamas. You got a problem with that?
No, I don't. I never
so,
said I had a
so,
problem
no,
with it.
No, I'm not saying what you said. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not putting no words in your mouth.
Okay, please don't.
No.
I like
Oh,
the
no.
record to reflect
No
clearly.
words in your mouth. I'm only responding to some things that you said.
Okay.
We have in our country some people who became
born here,
who were born here.
school.
The government of the Bahamas spent tens of millions of dollars putting them through primary, secondary, and tertiary education.
Right.
All right? When they were ill, they went to Princess Margaret, and many of them were born in Princess Margaret. Well, if that happened, why shouldn't they be productive citizens of the Bahamas? If you have spent all of this money educating them in the Bahamas, why shouldn't you have them assimilated to be productive in this country?
Now, my sentiments were in reference to persons that were just coming in.
What do you mean? No, you were talking about
People
born
were
here.
saying, no.
Mr.
We were talking about people who were born in the Bahamas.
Initially, his question didn't
No,
ask me
no,
about
we
people
talk
who were
about- we-
born in the. He asked me about immigration in its entirety.
Yes, but the immigrants have children who were born
Born here.
in the
Yeah.
Bahamas.
But we're not talking. We weren't.
No,
to
let's
answer his question
forget
first.
about his question.
Okay.
What do you think of young people, your age, for instance, who were
I have
born
friends.
in the Bahamas? Should they have a right to remain in the Bahamas and have some status?
If they were born here, Mr. Jones, they went to school here. They were productive. Productive here. Contributing, not being gangs, not inserting violence, anything. They were productive. I agree that citizenship should be granted. And there is a process.
Oh, I see.
And like everything, there is a process. Maybe some person saying maybe the age, because I believe they apply at 18. 18 now is the
Yes,
age.
it is.
Persons are saying, well, I've already been here, I have to wait till 18, and then sometimes I don't get accepted till 21, so I can't get a job. Maybe that process needs to be looked at for that grouping of persons. But there also has to be a process that protects our borders from other persons just saying, okay, as soon as you come here and have this baby, you automatically can stay.
No one would suggest that at all. That's just
And
absurd.
that
No-
is what
no
I was
one-
speaking
no
to.
one- no one
Somebody
suggests-
suggested it before, though.
We're talking about people who were born in the Bahamas. And
their parents maybe they come illegally.
Yes. Now, I'm going to suggest to you too that there were thousands of people who came to the Bahamas who were the builders of the Bahamas, who prepared the Bahamas for people like us
I agree.
to be here. And I'm suggesting to you that successive governments, including the FNM government, victimized many of these people over the many years. Because we have to remember that out of the last 25 years, the FNM has been in power for 17
Yes.
of those 25. And a whole lot of problems that we have in the Bahamas today were not dealt with by this government that has been in power for 17
Now
of
listen,
the last 25 years.
This government doesn't
Yes?
consist of the same persons, and
No,
this is
I'm
why
saying the
earlier in my
FNM
statement,
as an organization has
correct.
been in power for 17 of the last 25 years.
And then if we go there, how long has the
and a
PLP
whole
been
lot
there
of
and the issues wasn't addressed?
in the last 25 years, well, you take away 17 from 25, and you give that to the PLP. But 17 of the last 25 years, okay? The problems that we are dealing with here are FNM problems and PLP problems.
We agree to
And
that.
most of these problems have not been addressed.
And the
Like what?
problem is they kick the buck, everybody kicks the buck down the road. And this is what my sentiments I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
We can't live for what has happened. While we acknowledge it, we are now at today. We have to deal with the problems today. Knowing your past and acknowledging it is important.
But you
we
you
are now
accept
at today.
that a whole lot of these problems have not been
I
dealt
accept
with.
that they have not been dealt with.
dealt with
I agree.
by the FNM in government.
What problems? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Immigration problem, you want
Oh,
listening?
we're still on
Like
immigration. No, you
problems
saying
like the
problem.
economy,
Okay.
the variety of problems.
Successive governments. See,
Okay.
you're trying to zoom in.
Let
But you're trying to zoom in on an FNM thing.
No, no, no,
Successive
no,
governments have neglected to deal with a lot of things.
That is why I asked you
Government is
early.
continuous. Government is
Government's
continuous.
Yes, I asked you early, why are you FNM?
Yes, and I told
And
you,
you told me.
based on
You
what's
gave
happening,
me a soliloquy
my-
based on,
Yes.
and he started
my-
in 2002.
Yeah, I started. Yeah.
Right?
That's when
and
I.
I don't know how far you went, all right? But you say with your Grammy, this and that, and that,
Yeah.
and that, right?
what they did
Now-
doesn't affect me
Lord.
right now.
Bon Petit,
Yes,
tell me.
sir.
That
See,
is not
no.
so. Wait, that is not so, you know.
No, I mean-
Wait, let me tell you why that's not so. You have children?
No, not yet.
You will have children, right? Would you
If
like
God
to
blesses me with them.
Would you like to be able to pass your Bahamian citizenship on to your children?
Yes, I would like to do that.
You know you can't?
I know that. I understand that. And the referendum was put to the people and they rejected it. And a lot of that too had to do with a lack of education. A lot of that could have also had to
No,
do with
no,
them
no.
voting against the government.
It was put to the people by Mr. Ingram and by Mr. Christie. That is Mr. Jones is talking about.
Yes, Bon Petit.
See, Mike, no. I asked that question earlier because he brought up an immigration issue. That's a specific topic, and then you came on and said problems. So I'm trying to problems is general. I'm trying to see which problem. We talking about electricity
variety of
issue,
problems.
immigration
Oh, you
issue,
wanna talk about
unemployability.
Yeah, that was
No,
a long
I'm just
time
saying.
ago.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. Like, which problems are we now talking about? I don't want to just say the FNM government isn't doing problems. I'm like, what problem exactly are we referring to?
I prefaced all of that by asking you, why are you FNM?
Okay.
And you told me why you FNM. She
Yes.
said she's FNM because of the roads.
No, I didn't tell. No, just because of
I
listen,
didn't
Joe, you have to. I'm gonna put you on blast on your own show. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. I zoomed in on that as an example.
roads?
I said
You
because
were
the
impressed by the
FNM
roads?
government. No. Because the FNM
Were
as
you
a
impressed by
party,
the roads?
every time they're in government, you
man.
can see, feel, touch, and taste
Yes.
what they do. Besides
Yes,
them being
okay,
in government,
fine. Yes.
as a party,
And-
they involve young people at all levels
And you
in nation building.
and you
And
mentioned
that is
the
why I'm
roads.
in FNM.
You were impressed with the roads.
I
you spent 5
mentioned
minutes
that as
talking
an
about the roads.
example. Yes, as an example, because
Yes.
I want you to understand
Yes,
what you
but-
could
but-
see and touch.
But didn't you spend 5 minutes talking about the roads?
I spent 5 minutes talking about it.
All right. Now,
That's how long it
so
felt to you?
you were
Like 5
you
minutes?
were impressed with the infrastructural development
Meant
under the-
exactly, and
yes.
as your
And
population
is there-
grows,
is there-
infrastructure
was
is
there-
required to sustain
Was
it.
there any infrastructure that you were pleased with under the PLP? Any?
I ain't seen none.
Okay, you ain't seen none. Not at all. All right, good.
They certainly didn't. They certainly didn't.
You
I
saw
didn't-
none.
Unless communication dropped down.
You went to the University of the Bahamas?
In nothing changed.
Did you go to the
Besides,
University
I
of the
was at
Bahamas?
I was at there at the time.
Good.
Yes.
All right.
And still in the same classrooms. We got it. There was a new screen and a waterfall put outside.
Do you know that the College of the Bahamas came about under a PLP I can say a word when you're talking. Under the PLP administration, that a man by the name of Livingston Coakley was the minister of at the time, and they developed the College of the Bahamas, and then Mr. Fitzgerald, as the PLP minister, had it converted to the University of the Bahamas and put in the infrastructure and hold on, man. And in terms of the budgetary requirements for it to be what it is, that it was done by the Christie administration. You realize that?
You want me to answer you?
Yes.
It's my time now.
Yes.
I realize that while it has gotten upgraded to a university, that you still cannot get into classes. It's still bad with registration. The same old infrastructures are still there. You're still having problems printing. You're still having problems doing a lot of things. A lot of problems that you don't have at other universities. Most of the infrastructural upgrades that happened was the walls that were built around, the closing off a big pond, the waterfall, and the 2 TV screens that you see outside. A lot of what happened on the campus was already there. A lot of the infrastructural.
You heard me when I said a while ago that
And you
from
said a while
out of the
ago,
last
and did you
17
hear me
years,
when I
from the
said
last 17
that I
years,
wasn't
that
referring
the FNM
to
was
what
in
they did?
power for the last 17 of 25? You didn't hear that?
I heard that. I heard that.
So
wasn't schools
if you
built?
didn't have
Weren't schools
no
built
I don't
under
want to
that
turn
term?
I don't want to turn
No,
this-
you
I
talked
don't want
about
to
the
turn
university.
I don't want to turn
So
this
that's
interview
education.
into a row,
Schools
okay?
were built.
You got a little wasp in you. I don't want to turn this into a row, right? I just want the public to hear certain facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
And why do
No,
I
I don't want to turn it to a row.
Okay, it
so
won't be a
so
row.
I'm going to listen to you and you listen to me, right? So what I'm saying to you, you are concerned, you're talking about infrastructure. Let's talk about the philosophical approach to development of the Bahamas.
Lifting people.
And not look at these mundane things, but who fixed that road and who put that telephone there and who, I'm not interested in that. We're talking about the empowerment and the movement of a people.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
Let's talk about
And in
that.
the last 17 years, schools were built the same way. They worked on the, I give into you what you were saying about them converting the college into the university. Infrastructurally, we had, I believe, Anatole Rogers was built to, what's the school down there in Oaksville? I can't remember everything off the top of my head right now, but Anatole Rogers for one. Knowing that the population was increasing, we had to house more children.
But you're still talking
Wasn't that
about the
happening?
building of roads and schools.
Physical
I'm talking
structures.
about, I want to move beyond that.
Okay, so where are you going
I
with
want
that,
to talk
Mr.
about the
Jones?
minds of the people, building people and empowering people. But anyway, let's take this break. Let's take
Let's come back and get some water.
We take this break on our program. Gabrielle McKinsey, she is all fired up.
Ready to go.
Ready to go to it.
Ready to go.
We'll come right back.